Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you joining us today for this exclusive session on Beyond Hiring, automating HR processes from onboarding to exit. We are thrilled to have such an incredible audience of HR professionals, leaders, and change makers with us, all coming together to explore how technology is reshaping the HR landscape. As HR leaders, we know that the role of HR has evolved far beyond hiring. It's about creating agile, people first experiences where speed, accuracy, and compliance go hand in hand. In this session, we'll uncover how automation and digital signing are helping HR teams simplify offer to exit workflows, strengthen compliance, and focus on what truly matters people and culture. We have an esteemed panel with us today who will share their insights, real world experiences, and forward looking perspectives on how HR can thrive in this digital era. Without taking much time, let's meet our panelists for the day. I would like to first introduce everybody to Mr. Santosh Sir. With nearly 2 decades of experience across diverse industries, Santosh Kukane has been at the forefront of driving HR transformation and organizational growth. As Senior HR Manager at Japfa Concrete India Limited, he leads compensation and benefits and total rewards initiatives embedding data driven insights and automation into core HR processes. A strategic people leader, Santosh has played a pivotal role in reimagining traditional HR practices, streamlining performance management, digitizing workflows, and enhancing employee experience through technology. Moving on to Mr. Rushat Sir. Rushat Shah is the AVP and head of human resources at Cygnature One with over 17 years of experience in building strong people practices and driving organizational growth. He has led HR transformations across leading technology firms, focusing on culture building, performance management, and change leadership. At Signet One, Rushat is spearheading HR digitalization, simplifying processes, enhancing employee experience, and aligning people strategy with business goals. His approach blends technology with empathy, creating a workspace that values innovation, agility, and continuous learning. Our moderator for the day is Deepika Asudani. She is a product expert at Signet One with nearly a decade of experience across business analysis, product development, and compliance focused digital solutions. In her role as a product expert at Signet One, she has been instrumental in shaping enterprise ready platforms like Cygnature, enabling organizations across industries to simplify complex approval processes and meet electronic signing requirements. Deepika combines her technical expertise with strong client engagement skills, allowing her to design solutions that are not only compliant but also practical and business friendly. Without taking much time, let us hand this session over to Deepika, who will be introducing us to the evolving HR landscape as well as to further discussion. Deepika, over to you.
Thank you so much, Asta. It's great to be here with such an amazing panel and audience. As we all know, the HR function has evolved tremendously from paperwork and processes to data and experiences. So, on that note, let's start by understanding how each of our panelists view this evolution and the opportunities it brings. So, we all know HR isn't just about hiring anymore. It's about how every interaction from an offer letter to an exit interview shapes someone's experience with the company. But the truth is, behind that experience lies a mountain of processes, paperwork, and compliance checks. So, Rushat, let me bring you in here. When HR starts adopting more digital tools, automating offer letters, using e-signatures, or integrating bots, it's easy to worry that things might become too transactional. So, from your perspective, how can HR leaders make sure technology actually enhances the human side of the function instead of replacing it?
Okay, good question, Deepika. Good afternoon, all of you. So, I personally feel that, you know, it is all about understanding and accepting the fact that technology is there to complement to your job and not to compete against that. The day you start getting that feeling among yourselves that the technology is genuinely a co-pilot for you, it's not there to replace you, but it's there basically to support you in executing your work, mundane work, something which is repeated task, and it's going to make your life much easy. So it's all about a mindset to accept technology. And at the end of the day, as a HR, you just have to be an end user of it. You are not going to be a creator of it. So being an end user is not so difficult. It's just a mindset change that is required. And I think the moment you are able to get in that mindset as HR professionals, I think it's not difficult to adapt technology and work on that. So I believe in today's era where everyone is so tech savvy, it's not a difficult task at all.
Fine. So
Yeah.
that simply balances in theory, but anyone who's worked in HR knows how complex it gets in practice, especially when documentation and compliance comes into picture. Most HR teams spend hours, sometimes days, preparing, reviewing, and chasing signatures on the documents. It sounds routine, but it eats up so much time. What are some of the biggest pain points the HR teams face in managing documentation and compliance heavy processes? Sure.
Okay, so now I believe most of the companies have basic automation in place, but still, let me assume that there are still certain companies who don't. So managing a manual automation with respect to the documentation is, I mean, it is very difficult. Imagine you have to, store so much or so many documents. You have to get signature on each of these documents. There is so much of use of paper, and the time that goes behind it, that you rightly said just now. So I think it is very difficult, and practically it takes too much of time out of a HR these days. In the past, now most of the companies have it automated, but just having automation in place is again not enough. Automated system also have to be talking to each other. Many times we see that there are multiple systems you have in the organization, but they don't talk to each other. So the eventual benefit of automation, whether it is to do with documentation or any other part, really comes into a savior when each of your systems starts talking to each other. You have a single point where all your documentation is saved. So from that perspective, I think managing documentation is something which can be challenging if you don't have a proper automation in place. Secondly, if we talk about the regulatory challenges that we face, because documentation has a lot of legal aspects associated with it. If we really don't follow the proper regulations, then despite of doing all the hard work, you may still end up in a situation. So you also need a system in place which can also take care of regulations, so that for you that piece is being taken care properly. And lastly, that we all understand, even if you have all the documents, all the system in place, the protection of that data, the documents, so that all your important information doesn't get leaked out, is equally important. So there are multiple challenges that we see when it comes to the HR documentation with respect to the compliances and other areas.
That's interesting because even when tools exist, many teams still go back to spreadsheets, folders, and even email threads. So, while talking about the risks of staying manual, why do you think traditional manual HR processes still stick around? Is it a habit, control, or just the fear of change?
Okay, if you ask me, I think it is purely a fear of change, because in this digitalization era where we are, I think everybody understands that technology is much more cheaper and a safer option to have. So I don't see more, it's not about a habit or a control, it's more about a fear of a change that people often see with themselves, because they feel that technology may overpower them at some point of time, which we all understand may not be the fact. There are also associated risks related to the compliance, storage of documents, data theft that we were discussing in the previous questions. So this also further adds to the pressure of an individual when they try to adapt to the technology. There are, beyond everything else, there is a major risk of a burnout among the HR professions that we see, because Imagine a person who is into the operations department. He or she is constantly doing so much of documentation day in, day out. So for them, the risk of burnout is very, very high. So, I see it mainly as a fear of change than anything else, because everyone understands that manual work has a lot of, disadvantages of it. So it's more about a fear of change, according to me.
That really brings out the reality of HR today. Lots of effort spent on administrative work, operations, when the focus should ideally be on people and strategy. Let's now talk about how automation is starting to change that and where digital signing fits into the bigger picture. So, Rushit and Santosh, let's unpack how HR can actually begin this transformation journey.
Sure.
Right from setting the right priorities while automating, when an HR team decides to automate, it's not just about going faster, it's also about doing the things right way. So, Santoshi, in your view, how can HR leaders strike the right balance between speed, accuracy, and compliance?
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Deepika. Being HR professional, HR digitalization is our core area. So, in achieve the HR digitalization, we need to set one platform where complete employee life cycle will be existing, starting from employee hiring to till retire, hire to retire. So, uploading generating offer letter, starting from generating offer letter, signing, appointment letter. After that, confirmation also we set the auto confirmation. Suppose his reporting manager has not approved after 6 months, then it will automatically approve. So auto confirmation. So everything we have digitalized, and automation during these days it is required, I think.
So that's rightly put, Santoshi. While talking about automation's impact on employees' experience, from an employee's perspective, the onboarding experience often sets the tone for how they see the organization, right? So,
Right.
Santoshi, after adopting automation and digital signing, what kind of shift did you see in your employees' experiences, especially for the new job?
Right, new joinees are feel very proud because of this streamlined process, and also being HR, every individual is time consuming. Earlier, we need to take the approval. There are so many documents, collecting documents, preparing a file, and now we don't need any document. We at the time of onboarding, at the time of joining formalities, candidate can upload that document on onboarding module, and we will prepare his digital file, like in name wise or employee code wise. So it will be a record keeping in soft copy, electronic data. So this data will help us for processing the payroll and uh, further activities. So it will very smooth function for HR as well as employee. And it is not a people oriented; it is system oriented process. So it will work as and when employee left the organization who is doing this activity, the system configuration will be remain same. So he will acquire as early as possible, and the process will continue. So it is so useful and it's user friendly for everyone.
Sure. That's such a powerful example, Santoshi, and it also shows how automation can be about experience as much as efficiency. Now, for a company like yours that handles hundreds of documents day in, day out, and also as someone who's driving the digital transformation firsthand, what was that tipping point for you? Like, what made you choose a digital signing solution like Cygnature?
Digital signing?
Solution like Signature.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, what was the tipping point to get
Right.
started with that?
Actually, in Java, we are using Cygnature since last 5 years, and we are
Yeah.
happy and satisfied customer, as because the current days Cygnature, there are so many changes in Cygnature. Not one bunch of document we can upload easily, and we can assign the signer 1, 2, 3, 4 for approver 1, approver 2, approver 3. There are like in the approval note, there are IOC inter-office correspondence. In cases we need 3 approval, we need 4 approval. So there is no limit for only one approval is there. We can track their signature at 1, signature 2, signature 3, signature 4, and we can also set secretarial for once first approval, then it will go to second approval. Then it will go to third approval. This systematic process set in Cygnature, and we will get the notification on email also, as and when approver has approved, then auto email has generated and shows that he has approved, your document has approved. So we can download, and also there is attachment of that document and certification, the certificate by signature that we are authorized signatory, and this is valid signature. Okay.
Thank you, Santoshi, for the insights. That's a very great perspective. It really shows how small process changes can create huge time saving and consistency across all the teams. Okay. So to make this even more real, let's now look at how Cygnature actually brings this to life, like from generating an offer letter to tracking every single signature securely. I'll quickly walk you through how a typical HR workflow unfolds inside Cygnature, from creating an offer letter to getting it signed, and also securely storing it without the endless hassle of emails and follow-ups. So I'm now going to share my screen to walk you through the live demonstration for this. I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know once it's visible.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
It's visible now.
Sure. So I've logged into my system. Cygnature is a SaaS-based e-signing tool. This is the landing page. On the dashboard, you can see the statistics for all the documents which have been floated from your account, right from the offer letters, exit letters, employment policies, everything. All your onboarding hassles can be automated and digitized from this single tool. So you can see on the dashboard, there are multiple statistics that would show you quick call to actions for your documents, pending for your signatures, pending for others to sign, completed documents, documents marked as priority, which are due. So everything all in one place. Your recently assigned, unsigned documents, subscription details. On the calendars, it's going to highlight a few critical events which are required to be taken on the workflows. So say, for example, by 17th of this month, an offer letter acceptance is due for an employee, right? So it is going to highlight with a green indicator. So on 17th of this month, before this date, they have to take the relevant actions which are required on that workflow. Your workflows which are saved as drafts can be there. We also provide integration with Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, your organization, SharePoint, everything to easily manage your documents as a free, pick it up from there and post the signed document there. Even you can create the reusable templates, which are very prominent. And as in HR, you need to send multiple documents on regular basis with a recurring frequency that, okay, if there are 10 employees joining on this date, they are to be rolled out the company guidelines, policies, and other things. So you can create reusable templates and just make use of them in a very quick way to get the signatures and approvals. So I'm going to drive a typical sample offer letter workflow. So which has two signers, one being an HR manager and the person who is getting onboarded. You have uploaded a document. You can define the metadata information regarding this workflow, document name, category. You can even define your own categories. This makes it very easy, and from the traceability point of view, it is very efficient to search across all the offer letters and whoever was the signer who is uploaded and other things. Description also goes handy with the people who are or the counterparties who are required to sign it. Say, for example, if you're onboarding an employee and you want them to also attach their supporting documents and other things, they can always do that. So with that description, it's going to help them how they can also provide the additional information with the document. Then there's also supporting attachments, which they can add with the main workflow. Now, if an external party needs to sign, an employee who's not there in your contact list, you can just go to add individual contact. name and email address. You just have to provide the name and email address of the authorized signatory, and then you can just quickly float these documents out to them. Now, as an HR manager, supposing I am also one of the signers who's required to proceed with the signatures, I've selected myself, and also I'm going to float this document as an employee to ASTA. So here you see a couple of routing options which says parallel, sequential, hybrid. So you can either set a sequence on who needs to sign first, whether it's a parallel routing order that does not require any instantiation through a sequence. If it's a hybrid order, which means the HR executive and employee can just sign in any order, and then the final approving authority needs to sign. So that's a combination of both parallel and sequential routing orders. So for now, I'm just going to keep it sequential where the HR manager signs first and then the employee who's getting onboarded would sign. Even you can add observers. So as an HR spokesperson, you would be the signer, but you also want to keep the HR manager or head informed of this, what are the activities with this particular employee offer letter that has been rolled out. You can even add them as observers, which are just the silent entities or witnesses to your documents. Now, Cygnature provides a wide range of sign-in options, right from electronic signatures to digital signatures and also national ID-based signing. We also support Aadhaar e-signing, which is your advanced electronic signature mode, which is going to actually verify the identity of the person who is signing the document. Then with the two-factor OTP authentication, they are going to sign it and then the digital signature happens, certificate is issued and your document is digitally signed. Apart from that, for our customers in Middle East, we also do support ID authentication for UAE Pass and Oman PKI. So moving to the next step here on the workflow creation, this is where you need to set the signing fields for your signer. You just need to simply drag and drop on the positions wherever your signature is required. And you also have all these options from where you can just select from the fonts, how you can actually capture your signatures. Select from the fonts. You can draw your signature or upload an image of your signature. All these options are available handy. And even if there are form-based documents, you want to also seek additional information from your signer, like address details, name, date, initials to be printed on all pages. This also, becomes handy for other type of workflows or other documents which are form-based to seek approvals and signatures and also get their information filled in the forms. So these are the options. And then I'm just going to switch between the signers. The employee needs to sign. So the typical process through which they can get a link to review and then they can simply sign it. If there are any additional supporting documents which are required, they can even add that and then it's good to go. The workflow completes there. And on the final step here, you can see the information, signers, approvers, additional information. If you want to lock this offer by 30th of this month, the employer has to either accept or reject it by this month's end date. And system can also automatically send reminders. So everything is hassle-free. You don't have to go after your employees seeking their follow-ups or go calling them, send them reminders manually or through email threads, nothing. Just from the system, it's going to be handled. And also you can have a typical DMS-based export wherein you can have these file transfer locations configured. You can have a standard shared file directory where all your signed up offer letters or any sort of document, it could be FNF letters, settlement, exit forms, and then onboarding, all these documents can reside in one shared directory and also the folder structure would be maintained. So everything can be automated from this single solution. And then I'm just gonna here finish this workflow creation process. Now, Asta, if you can quickly share your screen so that our attendees here would just have a quick glimpse of how the signing process happens and how quick it is for people who are new to the system to adapt it and sign their documents hassle-free.
Oh, yes, Deepika, I'm going to share my screen.
Sure.
Just a second. I hope my screen is visible. Not yet. I'm going to continue as schedule.
Yeah. So two-factor authentication is enabled, wherein the signers can just enter the OTP. This is going to be a validity that, okay, the person who is required to sign is actually signing it. And as a first-time signer, you're continuing as a guest. You do not need to have an account registered with the tool. So you can just simply sign as guest. Before you actually proceed to sign as guest, you just need to give electronic consent that you are signing this document to an electronic mode. So as you can see here, I have already signed. Now the employee would sign. They'll just jump to the position where their placeholder is set or their signature is required. So they've just entered and added the signature. Again, they also get all these options to select from the fonts, upload an image, or draw from the stylus, everything. All these options are available. And on the left panel, you can also see there's a tab supporting documents where this employee can also upload their KYC documents, their company past experience, settlement forms, etc., other documents which goes handy. And on the top right, you can also see the reassign and decline option. So if you feel that you are not the right person to sign this document, you can also reassign this document to someone else. Having said that, the owner also get these options to, cancel or delegate the responsibility to someone else if in case the signer is not present or signing responsibility is required to be delegated to the right authority. And even the signer can decline it with a specific reason. So the initiator would know what changes or amendments are required to be made in the workflow. So supposing there's a negotiation happening, or if, the employee is wanting to not comply with the terms and anything, they can always put a remark with this decline option, and then the amendments can happen and the new offer letter would be rolled. So just finishing the signatures, after then click on submit. All right, thank you. I'm just going to take the control again.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the signed document, and this is the certificate of completion that you get. And also Santoshi was previously mentioning about it, how you can see all these audit trails in one single document, which has all the document information, signing process details, what was the signing flow, how many signers were added, documents meta information. Even this audit trail has a QR code, which is the unique identity. It's found with a document ID to quickly trace and, view this document. You can just scan the QR code on this certificate of completion and get to the digital details of this document, which shows that it is signed on an e-signing platform. Having that with blockchain timestamping, this solution is built on blockchain. So you can have a traceability of all the hashes right from the unsigned document to signed document till the audit trails. Everything is securely stored and hashed in the blockchain. So to ensure that the document cannot be tampered, post it as digitally signed, you can even verify it. It compares the signing hashes, and you can immediately identify if any changes have been done to the document post it has been signed. The signer's information, we captured all these details right from IP address to browser details, OS, and also the lat long coordinates from where they have signed it. So this ensures that all your legal compliances are in place, your automation is seamless, you're digitally executing this, no hassle of follow-ups or emails or manually calling up employees. And you can also get all these audit trails in place where right from creation to execution to download, everything is documented and traced. So this is how your entire HR documentation can be digitized. Now, moving on to a quick case study, a live case study on how HR teams can, reduce the time on processing all these documents in bulk. There's a lot of documentation comes in place, right? So, right from initiation to execution, there's loads of documents, which are required to be manually executed, and that takes a lot of manpower and man days as well, right? So how Cygnature, along with the combination of automation, can do this process seamlessly, and how it is going to reduce the man time and manpower and the efforts that you put in the manual documentation. So here you can see on the left, preparing individual candidate documents manually. If each document is approximately taking 5 minutes and you have 10 different documents to be, uploaded in a single day, it is going to take approximately 1 to 2 hours for an individual, right? Considering the human errors and copy pasting the data and the relevant information, everything. When you take an average on the statistics, it is a very time consuming process that might take even up to 10 days if the volumes are high. Then uploading these documents individually on the signing tool or through emails if you are sending it, there is again going to be a time consuming cumbersome process where each document would approximately take around 5 to 10 minutes, say for example, along with the attachments. Then you make the manual corrections, human errors and everything, you settle it, and then that again adds up to 16 days of your effort, because here we are taking a quantifiable amount of certain count of documents which we are considering to automate. Then there's also complexity in searching across this if there's no DMS or HRMS or an automating solution in place, and if all of this happens manually, there's also a complexity in maintaining these documents, efficiently searching them through the repository, and there's a lot of possibility of misplace of data and human errors. So all in all, it's a very time-consuming and effort, which consumes a lot of your effort and manpower in this manual process. How you can actually automate it in combination with this bots. So we also have an in-house automation bot there. This is the exact scenario that we also use for automating all our HR documentation and processes. So supposing an appointment letter in bulk is required to be sent out, be it appointment letters or say, for example, in a quarter, the increment letters are due for across the organization. It's a widespread activity, right? So here you have the templates available in a folder. On the left, you can see, and the records of the candidates from HRMS. You have these details securely stored in an Excel sheet or in a folder in the HRMS. A template is already issued, defined. What the automation program will do is picking up the right set of template and mapping it with the data which is provided either in the folder or Excel or from the HRMS. It's going to combine that data and it's going to create different offer letters and send them in bulk all in one go. More like a mail merge activity. We are just trying to automate. Even mail merge takes a lot of effort. You have to create the template and then you have to settle it up. You have to send it across, right? So this particular transformation or digital execution through bots and Cygnature combination is going to save a lot of time, wherein you are doing the bulk send just by replacing this template. You're picking the right set of template, you're replacing the data with it and sending out the documents in bulk. And then the employees respectively would receive their links to sign and execute and finalize and complete these appointment letters and finish the execution of signing. Even the reminders and everything can be traced, certificate of completion outdetails, everything would be in place in the Cygnature tool, while bot does the automation to bulk send this activity. Imagine if you do automation with this activity and take a bulk of data. Say, for example, increment letters. Increments are due for thousands of employees in one single quarter. You can just automate this process within minutes. So if these are the kind of categories of documents which we have here, So considering all these use cases, right, from offer letters, NDAs, the appointment letters, confirmation letters, increment letters, exit relieving forms, of other official letters, if we consider an estimated count of 1,000 per category, it comes up to 7,000 documents. Imagine the kind of automation it requires. Imagine the time kind of man days it consumes if you do the manual processing of such a large volume. If you are proceeding without automation and you on an average consider at if at all 10 documents, or sorry, 10 minutes per document, or for a simple category, even if you take on an average 3 to 4 minutes per document, it is coming up to approximately 65 minutes to process these 7,000 documents. And if you have the right kind of automation in place, that average time would be reduced to 2 minutes per document, and the summation of all would mark up to the 13 minutes of per document. So you are saving a large amount of man days and the manual power by just automating this through the signature and automation combination. From 947 days, it slashed up to 190 man days to process these 7,000 documents. So this is the all in all a real-time scenario, which we have also provided to one of the largest banks. They've automated it along with automation of integration with Cygnature and bot along with their integration with HRs. So this is how you can, see the real-time example of it. So that's all about the how we can see this in action happening, how we can actually leverage our tools capability to automate all these processes with the real-time examples. Now moving on to the next segment. We are again open to the panelists, and let's now hear it from Santosh sir, that how your team at Java has been using Cygnature for HR processes for a while now, like you mentioned. What kind of improvements have you seen since adopting Cygnature? Maybe in terms of time saved or accuracy or process visibility?
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
As we are using Cygnature and it is a user-friendly software, we can upload your bulk of document. Like there is a file of 10 pages or 30 pages or 20 pages, whatever. We can easily upload it. And suppose I required signature on each page, then we can drag at one side where bottom and just click on the paste, and that entire the checkbox is applied to every page. So I no need to select on every page that we need to signet here, we need to signature here. So it is automation, and it will help us to reduce our timing for selection in every page that signature. And after uploading this document, then suppose one has not approving, then we need to just remind, and automatically email has trigger him, and on email he can approve it. So it is also so helpful for approver who can approve it easily. And he just click on approve, and the approver will see signed on every page of this document. This is a set of documents which called a file, and the entire file will upload in one slot at one time and signed in one time. This is beneficial.
And there's also HRMS integration that's in place, which is also efficiently doing all your paperwork.
Yeah.
That's a big shift, Santoshi, not just operationally, but it's also time consuming, and also culturally adaptability is also something that comes into picture. Now, Rishabh, from an HR leader's point of view, when you look at automation at scale, what kind of ROI can organizations expect, not just in numbers, but also in terms of strategic bandwidth?
Okay, so if we talk about strategic bandwidth, let's first understand through an example how this bandwidth can be created. So I'll take a minute here, but would try to explain that why this bandwidth gets created. Now, Cygnet being the originator of Cygnature, so obviously we were among the first users of it. We were the testing grounds. The objective was very clear. It has to be 100% paperless. Obviously, the cost saving, time saving, everything followed. But simple objective was that we have to be paperless. That's the thought process through which we started. Now, surprisingly, if I say we were actually in the first year itself, we were able to save almost 1,000+ man hours per month. The overall cost, the way you were explaining, got reduced by 80%, and the turnaround time was faster by 70%. Let me take example of NDA. Now, all of us have to get NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, signed by anybody who joins, anyone who leaves, anybody who works for a client. Now, previously, when we were not using Cygnature, the cost of per NDA was almost 600 rupees. How does it come? 300 rupees, we have to basically, any document we say, we have to get it franking. So it takes 300 rupees. Then further stamping on it takes another 300 rupees. So it's an overall cost of 600 rupees that goes behind a single document of NDA. So if we talk about, say, for example, in a particular year, Cygnature had 550 joiners. So overall, we saved 3,30,000 there from this particular cost. Similarly, that is just from the joining NDA perspective. Now, say, for example, the same number of employees would have left. So Cygnature, we also have an exit NDA as a format. In that particular year, we had around 230 employees who left us. So similarly, we had to rather spend 600 more there. That also was saved. So we almost saved 1,38,000 there. And every individual who works with the client directly, there are certain cases where client also wants us to sign an NDA with individual. So even if we consider some 100 odd cases there, 60,000 were saved there, and maybe some other documents here and there. So overall, if you look, we almost saved 518, or rather 5,80,000 worth amount in NDA itself. And by using Cygnature, if I look at the overall cost of Cygnature, would have been around, say, 1,60,000 against that. So our overall savings was 80% in this case, if we talk about this. Similarly, if you see, secondly is the time factor into it. Every document used to take 2 to 3 weeks, because first we have to get the employee signed, you have to run behind the employee to get it signed, then you have to sign, that takes few days. Then the process begins that you have to go to the lawyer's office, get their signature done, then you have to just put that entry in the register. Even the lawyers take their own sweet time to come. So all these things were taking a lot of time, and eventually we ended up in a situation where it used to take 2 to 3 weeks for us to complete a single document. This entire was completely flexible, because it is not dependent on anyone. The way Deepika, you were ready to the way you have shown, it is just completely automated with just logging in. It can be done instantly, any day, anytime, from anywhere. You are really not dependent on a weekday or a weekend to get such kind of a things done. So that is amazing. So when we started doing all these things, we realized that we were able to save almost two resource equivalent task was saved. So 2 members in my operations team were completely freed up because of this. Now comes to the part that you were talking about, bandwidth. So now I have a bandwidth of 2 individuals in my team who were previously just doing those repeated tasks. There was a possibility they would have left me because they were continuously doing the same work again and again. Now I have these people available with me. They are more able to focus on the real task of HR, that is to connect with people, understand the pain points, be more strategic partner to the business, and add more meaningful value to the business rather than just doing those operational tasks. So I believe that this automation has really helped us by freeing bandwidth of my team member, and they are much more able to work strategically with the business now. So I just wanted to show it with the example. So probably that makes it more easier.
That's very insightful, Mr. That's very insightful. Seeing the measurable results alongside the efficiencies of gain, you have rightly put the right set of examples so that we can connect the relatability and the dots of every process that happens with the HR. Now, as we transition into our final segment, we have seen how automation can make HR faster, cleaner, and more compliant. But at its core, like you also said, HR has always been about people. So, Rushad, as HR leaders start using AI tools more, bots, and also the automated workflows, how can they make sure that human element does not get lost?
Automation, probably, as I also started by saying, it is a complementary factor. It's not a replacement factor. Because even a system, if you say, we have to always remember the concept of garbage in and garbage out. So as a system also, if the input is not proper, the output is never going to be relatable the way we want. So it is where the humans still have a lot of role to play when it comes to the kind of input that we give it to the system. So that's where I think the human element is always there. Let me take you through one example. I was recently reading something that it may not be related to Cygnature, but one really needs to understand where the human input in technology is required. There was one of a very large organization in the US, and they were using this facial recognition system in their organization to mark attendance, entry, exit of anybody who is there in the organization. One fine day, there were two men who walked into their organization who were not registered in the system. And the output that was given out by the system was there is one white and there is one black man waiting at the door. Now imagine in a place like US, the moment you differentiate racially someone, that okay, this is someone white and someone black, you are done. I mean, that organization had a tough time. They had to settle this. They lost a lot of money into settling this. The reputation went for a toss. All these things says that as a HR, the input that you give to the system is a pure the element which defines the output. So the role of human being into the system is very, very important because we are the ones who give input to this system. So I believe that however good a technology is there, a role of human is always there. Humans rather bring technology more closer to individuals because and allows us again to work more strategically, work more closer to individuals, because the concept of HR began early 19th century by saying that HRs are somebody who are more closer to humans. So technology, when it does it work, HR are able to more work closely with the humans.
That's rightly put, Roshan. And it's also such a powerful reminder because at the end of the day, technology should pay HR to be more human, not less. So that's about it. Also, before we move to the final segment, and we'll also have some questions from the attendees panel, I would just like to ask one question to Santoshji. So, Santoshji, just like before adopting Signature, how your processes were, in place, and or what was your tipping point even before getting into Signature? How your processes were handled before getting into automation there at Jaffa? If you can like to share a story, if you'd like to share a story
Sure,
about
sure.
from where it started. Yeah.
Before implementation of Signet, we are mostly manually working on the documentation for signing from the MD, CFO, and it will be so critical for us because as and when we every time we take the document on the table of MD or on the table of CFO, suppose as per they available or their mood is not good, so what happen? Sometime we will sign it or we will decline it. But what happen? As and when we uploading this document on software, then they will approve it as per their convenient time, and we no need to take appointment for just signing the document, right? So this is the main part. So where we can reduce our timing and get accessibility of the person who is signing on the document. That's right. And also it is authority to sign the document as and where, for example, the full and final statement, the entire calculation is there and it has been approved by certain authorities. At that time, if I get the all the documentation like credit balance, debit balance, etc., now and I need to convey to the manager or HOD to approve it, and it is difficult to me also and your for the last payout of the employee. But now we upload it in Signet and we just send an email that we have uploaded it we have successfully uploaded on Signet, and they will approve it. So the ratio of approval is are done more than 90% in this software. Only 10%, as and when where is doubt, they can decline or reject, and we will explain it. So the process is very much smoother than earlier. So I'm happy with Cygnature.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, after we'll take a couple of questions now. I'll start with one or two that we've received. Or have we received any questions?
Um, um, I would like to invite audience to post their questions or any queries in the Q&A section, as well as they can do the same in the chat section. So if anybody has any doubts or if anybody would like to share any problem-based question, please do go ahead.
And even your experience as in HR, what kind of digital adaptations have you done in your startup career? Anything that you would like to share, please do.
What? Yes. Are you asking me? Hello.
Yeah, Santosh, we have just opened the ground for the attendees here to post their questions
Yeah.
related to the automation processes or signature or anything that they would like to ask. So before moving to the final section or the segment to close or wrap this up, we'll just put this as an open forum for our attendees to interact with us. Yes, any questions, Dean? Anything that you would like to share? Any comments? Anything? Whether we were able to like explain the HR operations and how digital transformation takes place, that would be, great if you can share some feedback. If not now, you can write to us anytime. Asta will also share the details. And if you would like to connect with us, see a demonstration, anything you would like to do, you can definitely reach us out anytime. Okay. So before we close, I would really love to take a quick getaway from both of you. So for HR leaders who are just beginning their transformation journey, what's one piece of advice that you would like to leave with them? Rushan, if you can help us.
Right. Sure. So, probably, I will only say that automation now is not an option for HR anymore. I think it's something which is a very, very critical KPI for any HR professional or a leader or anybody. So, I think just start loving automation. And first step is to accept yourself that this is something which is required and you should go ahead with that. So, that's what I would say.
Santoshi, what would be the one piece of advice you would like to give to the HR leaders who have just started to begin with the transformation journey?
Yes, sir. In today's day, HR digitalization is required for everyone and every organization because it is more feasible than manual working. So I believe that today is the day of digitalization.
Thank you. Thank you both for these perspectives. And I think that beautifully ties it all together. Today's discussion really showed that digital HR isn't about replacing people.
Oh, hi, everyone.
There are few questions.
Yeah, we have a few questions from uh, the audience. First, Jovi has asked, how does in an organization, how to overcome silent exit of employees? If you could please guide us for the same.
Okay, it's say Dhruvi, how to stop us. I mean, how to identify. More important is first to identify. So it's basically a pattern. Now there is a choice whether you do it through a data or you do it through your own observation. So it requires a very deep level of observation, a lot of awareness about individual behavior. It is not something that only HR can do that. It's something that equally a line manager or project managers are equally someone who are responsible for it, because the first trigger has to come from them. A simple thing like someone who has been a consistent performer, and over a certain period of time you start seeing a decline in the performance, that is one of the very very trigger for you as an HR person to understand that there is something wrong and proactively try to get there. There is something which we call as stay interviews. Stay interviews is something we often do exit interviews, but exit is something which comes when somebody is resigned. Why not do it when someone is already a part of the organization? So start with the practice of conducting stay interviews. Give little time to your employees, start talking to them, try to catch those early signals and talk to them so that you can potentially try to save a exit in your organization. Probably that's one of the way I would say, and maybe Santoshi may have something else to add to this.
Yeah, Santosh,
Okay.
could you please share some insights on the same?
No, no. Well said, by Rushabh.
Okay, thank you. Apart from that, we also received a question as an HR manager or as an HR leader, do you face audit challenges due to missing timestamps or incomplete digital traits, as compliance is one of the requirements for any HR leader? So, if you could please share the same as well.
Yes, yes. Being audit is a big challenge for HR at any time, and like Cygnature or any one HRS software will help us to face the audit for compliance point of view. As and when required, we can download this document and submit to audit, and it will display that the when it has been signed, the date, time, and certificate of documentation document, which will prove that when it has been signed. So it will help to auditor also to track the exact date and time as mentioned in the document. So it is authenticated and it is relevant for as a proof in audit. So it will be help.
Yeah. There's also one question which says, what are some practical steps to identify which HR processes should be automated first? And how do we measure the success after implementation? I think you have already answered that, Rushad, giving us the classic example for the ROI, the measured cost versus bandwidth, etc. Just answer the first segment of the question, like like what are the practical steps to identify which HR processes should an organization automate first?
Sure. So, see, if you largely look at HR from 6 or 7 different angles, I think first step is to understand the current state of automation in an organization. So, I'm sure every organization has some automation in place. So, something which you feel is already there in place, try to foolproof that first. So, say for example, your operations has 50% automation, you are already having HRMS, but there is still a manual documentation doing. So please go and implement Cygnature first, because that's something which is going to complete it for you. Just an example, not trying to promote. Yes, I have to promote also, but then it's just trying to give you one example that something which is there, half first complete that. Secondly, you have to also look at cost as a major factor, because implementation, having automation in place demands a lot of cost in place. So you really need to have budget approvals, understand, what is the budget you have in your hand, and accordingly decide where to go. But in general, operational aspect of HR, which talks about documentation and onboarding, are primarily two areas which needs to be automated first, and then probably you can pick up based on the approvals and the requirement within the department. That probably is my answer. Santosh, if you want to add something.
Sure, agree with you. Also, I think it has started from onboarding, like screening the candidate, so that you individual or any candidate who is selected for this organization can upload this document, and it will be record for HR. So, and after that, of generating offer letter, issuing offer letter, accordingly appointment letter, everything will be digitalized. So it is uh, it is better than a step, because onboarding is the first initial stage of the after recruitment we start the onboarding. So first we need to digitalize the onboarding activity, then step by step we can digitalize complete HR operation.
Thank you, Santoshji. Thanks, Rushil. Any other open questions asked for today?
Oh, yes. Following up on Dhruvi's question, she's asked if in a scenario an employee leaves after collection of salary without serving notice period as an HR, what steps can we take to prevent this case?
Okay. There is no ready formula to do anything in such cases. I think as HR you will come across this situation more often now, where people would take salaries and just abscond. You just can't do much, but at max you can wait for the right time when you have something that you have to give a background check to somebody. At that point of time you can. But again, maybe it may be one or two cases out of 100. There is no point in wasting too much of time here. That's okay. It's a part of it, and you just have to accept it as a reality. There is no ready formula to, because these days Indian laws are such that they are more employee friendly than being employee friendly. So getting into any legal actions and everything, it's more of a pain than being useful. So I don't think this is something where you should be giving too much of time unless there is a fraud or any such kind of a situation. Just accept it and let it go.
But
Right. So I would like to thank the panelists today for their insightful session and sharing real life experiences as well as stories with us and with the attendees, HR leaders, uh, so that they can help drive the digital transformation of an HR better. I would also like to thank the Deepika to moderate this session in a very insightful manner from Q to Q to answer all our doubts. If anybody has any more questions, or if you would like to get our assistance for Signature as a digital signing solution, I have shared the email over chat. You can write to us at hello@signature.io. Every attendee will also get a recording video for your future reference. Thank you so much, everyone, and we hope to host you very soon again.
think
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
thanks.